In the freshly aired second installment, we've delved deeper into the psyche of Jax. Contrary to his previous demeanor in the inaugural episode, where he appeared rather harsh, we initially anticipated a more melancholic character due to a particular scene involving him idly trailing his finger through water. However, once we got to experience the episode in its entirety, it became clear that Jax was exhibiting a more ruthless side, indicating a slight evolution of his character throughout specific scenes. For instance, sequences featuring Jax interacting with Zubal stood out, especially when Kane announced the upcoming adventure. Zubal chose not to participate, and Jax questioned her reluctance to engage with the new AI. Their interaction paints an intriguing picture of their relationship. While Jax possesses the ability to sway others like Gengal or Ragatha, Zubal appears indifferent to his words. However, there seems to be a certain level of respect for her from Jax. After Zubal's exit, Jax breaks the fourth wall with a direct gaze into the camera, followed by a shrug, a subtle action that went unnoticed until now. As the story unfolds, Kane propels the circus troupe through a gateway leading them into the Candy Canyon Kingdom. It's here that Jax's enthusiasm sparks upon sighting the truck offered by the princess. The entire narrative encircles his reactions and interactions, providing us a wider perspective into his character development. The phrase, "ooh, violence," which Gooseworks mentioned out of context, now makes perfect sense coming from Jax. Once everyone is left alone and the key characters are all huddled in the truck, Jax swiftly assumes command. He retrieves the candy shotgun we saw in the trailer and uses it to instruct Gengal on her actions. It appears that Jax maintains his sanity by being unkind to everyone and stirring up disorder. In a subsequent scene, he seizes Pomni by her neck and thrusts her from the truck's roof. It seems like Jax is prepared to cast aside any other circus members to preserve his own mental stability. This is why Gooseworks declared there's nothing heroic about Jax. He's entirely self-absorbed. In another instance, he tells Gengal to crash into another truck. When Ragatha attempts to caution him that Pomni is on top, he simply dismisses Ragatha and instructs Gengal to proceed. The excitement is palpable as Jax issues an ultimatum: comply or face the consequences, particularly exposing the mysterious figurine affair to Ragatha. This action strikes me as a form of coercion, leading me to wonder about Jax's role in the lives of his fellow circus performers. It seems he possesses a wealth of knowledge on their personal quirks and secrets, effectively weaponizing this information for leverage when needed. A classic case of blackmail. Take episode 1, for instance. When Jax, Pomni, and Ragatha ventured to visit Kaufmo, Jax nonchalantly produced the key to Kaufmo's room, claiming he'd been placing centipedes in Retta's quarters. It wouldn't be surprising, then, if he also had access to Gengal's private space. The question remains as to why Gengal doesn't want Ragath finding out about the figurine incident. Could it be that she crafts miniatures of the NPCs and fellow circus members? Could there be an element of embarrassment or peculiarity linked to the figurines she created depicting Ragatha? Or might her interaction with these figurines be considered odd? Perhaps there's a hint of antipathy towards Ragi? It's unclear at this point. What strikes me as intriguing is Jax's manipulation of Gengal by threatening to expose her secret. Beyond his malicious intent, he's willing to exploit others' confidential matters for his gain. Yet amidst this underhanded maneuvering, Raga remains exceptionally kind to all, even after Pomni abandoned her twice. I'm uncertain as to why Gengal might be apprehensive about Ragatha discovering the mystery of the figurine. My perception is that JX isn't really concerned about revealing Gengal's secret. Rather, his intention is to throw Gengal into a state of distress, causing her to comply with his every demand. This seems rather perverse. In my opinion, this is the sole instance when Gengal exhibited a smile amidst sorrow. The idea that he wouldn't hesitate to eliminate Pally to enhance the thrill of the journey is downright insane. Nonetheless, I believe there's some truth in the notion that members of the circus are invincible within the circus world. This is evident when Ragatha was impaled through the heart and survived. During their search for Pomni, I distinctly remember Kinger suggesting they could resort to asking Kane to locate Pomni if things got desperate. Despite this, he was still ready to forsake Pomni and allow events to unfold as they may. After all, it remains a fact that circus members continue to experience pain. Undoubtedly, the moment when Ragatha was pierced in the heart must have been agonizing. However, the segment where they tumble into a chocolate lake and the fudge creature narrates a tale about consuming the villagers is intriguing. Ragatha questions whether this can be deemed as murder, to which the chocolate fudge creature retorts, asking if it could truly be murder if it tastes good. Jax concurs, revealing his perspective on deriving pleasure from others' suffering or demise, a rather distasteful trait. His actions suggest an absence of remorse, indicating a possible moral alignment, yet potential character growth might be on the horizon. Fast forward to a later scene in the episode where they are back in the tent, mourning Kamfo departure. Ragatha explains to Pomni that they conduct these rituals to honor those who are no longer with them. Kinger opines that it's the least they could do. The camera then pans to Jax, and for a fleeting moment, one can see a softening expression on his face before he retreats to his room, skipping the funeral. Perhaps Jax GW harbored feelings for Kamfo, but he was unable to express any emotion other than irritation or aggression towards his fellow circus performers. His hardened exterior was a defense mechanism. As the circus members delivered their monologues, we could not discern their words. However, we could clearly see that Kamfo was well-liked and his absence was deeply felt. Naturally, when you spend significant time with someone, you begin to form attachments. Even if Kamfo's humor wasn't always top-notch as revealed in the first episode, it was evident that the characters still held him dear. They held a memorial service in his honor, highlighting Kamfo's impact on the group. The fact that Jax used a pet name for Kamfo and kept his bowling ball in his room hints at a shared past, suggesting that Jax cared for Kamfo more than he let on. He maintained his tough exterior to keep up appearances. Interestingly, seeing Jax sitting alone against the backdrop of the setting sun painted a sad picture. It was not the character growth we had anticipated for Jax. Feeling regret for his weapon, he was merely upset that the quest lacked excitement due to the absence of conflict. It's odd to observe how gently and considerately Gengal and Raga treat Jax, especially when he expressed dissatisfaction with the journey. Ragi advised him that perhaps the forthcoming venture would be more to his liking, but she must have understood that this might lead to her experiencing even greater hardship. Owing to Jax, Ragi ended up with a knife in her head, and we're aware that these characters can experience physical pain. So, one could assume they have grown accustomed to Jax's brutishness. Or maybe Ragi wished to appease him simply to avoid any discord amongst them. She often sacrifices her own sentiments and strives to make everyone feel cherished, which underlines her maternal persona. It's truly commendable to see how much Ragi cares for everyone, regardless of whether they reciprocate her feelings. For instance, when Pomni and Gummy Goo are in trouble, Ragatha rushes over like a mother would and inquires about Pomni's welfare. However, in the succeeding episode, I believe we'll learn more about Jax as his character continues to reveal itself. I'm relieved that no one was harmed by his confectionery firearm, but I'm hopeful he'll strive to improve himself. We might witness a darker side to him in the upcoming episodes, but I'm also hoping to get a deeper insight into his relationship with Kamfo. His facial expression suggested a hint of emotion when Kamfo was abstracting, sparking curiosity. Perhaps Jax had a role in Kamfo's abstraction. This could explain his apparent melancholy, especially considering his mild irritation after showing that hint of emotion. Could he be recalling another who did not receive a proper farewell? It's a possibility, yet it's unlikely he's formed any genuine friendships in the circus, as Gooseworks has stated that Jack is not particularly liked there. Still, Ratha's love for him remains unwavering, which is truly commendable. Something I personally couldn't replicate in Ragi's shoes. Perhaps I could, yet I'm likely to face challenges. We have certain knowledge that Ja joined the circus at a tender age, and Gooseworks also opined that he was the most deserving of the circus life among all characters. This suggests that his disposition may not have been pleasant even in his human form during his younger years. Hence, I believe his current actions may be his way of dealing with the virtual world of the amazing digital circus. Though it's understandable, it's twisted nonetheless. I'm curious if the other circus members might reach a breaking point and begin to mirror Jax's behavior. It's plausible that he might be surprised if someone treated him the same way he treats others, and hopefully, this will lead to a change in him. There is a preview for episode 3 where Jax appears kinder, although our assumptions were incorrect about the episode 2 teaser. But that's beside the point. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Jax in episode 2. Personally, I found him to be quite harsh. Thanks for tuning in. Do subscribe and click on this video right here.